everyone, and welcome back to The Journey. Today is part 2 of the 3-part series of Money and the Opera Singer. One of the most important and helpful principles I have learned about managing money is to understand what my expenses are. In part 1, I spoke about getting to know your percentages. By that, I mean understand what is coming out of your check, commission, off of the top of your fee, your other expenses, and taxes after all of that. Today I want to speak generally about expenses as an opera singer. When I first started traveling and singing, I spent so much money before I even arrived at the job. Luggage, flights, taxis, hotels, apartments, food, gowns, jewelry, etc. I had no idea how much money I was actually spending just to do my job. Over the last several years, it has become very helpful to understand my finances, and it has become even more enjoyable to do my job now that I know what I'm doing financially. As opera singers, we have to spend money in order to do our job. However, I'm here to tell you that you must keep a good record on what you are spending. For example, what are you willing to pay for convenience? There are several options to consider when choosing a place to stay during your time in another city. There's option number 1.
I could stay within walking distance of the theater. That would be so convenient. But that's going to cost more money.
There's option number 2.
I could stay further away and not be within walking distance to the theater, but have a cheaper rent. Wait a minute. I have to get a train pass or hire a car every time I need to be at the theater. That's annoying.
The cost of convenience. Which one do you prefer? Which one is better for your finances? When I actually sat down and wrote out what I was spending, I was stunned to know that so many of my expenses could either be cut back or were totally unnecessary. I used to be offended by the word budget. I assumed that when someone told me to budget my money, they were implying that I was being foolish with my earnings. Well, they weren't far off. Once I learned about how much money I could save from a job by being frugal with my expenses, my entire world changed. The definition of the word expense is the cost required for something. The cost of traveling and singing can be high. However, these irregular expenses most definitely can and should be managed. Once you begin to make learning about your financial situation a priority, you can then start saving. Dear friends, not everyone has the same financial situation, but it is up to you to educate yourself on the costs associated with this job. Thank you for joining me today for part 2 of Money and the Opera Singer. I'll see you next week.